One of my observations is that we are all agreed and we are all committed to collaboration. I think it came through throughout all the discussions from the speakers, the panelists, that for us to succeed, we really need to ensure that collaboration works. We've also agreed one of the key words was partnerships, or partnership. Partnering is the way to go to ensure that we can achieve our objectives, especially between government and the private sector. There are a lot of resources in the private sector, a lot of resources in government. If we pool these resources together, we can do much more. So we need to really endorse that. Going forward, we need to ensure that there is strong partnership. There is a strong partnership between the private sector and government. Is that fine? Okay. But also, not just resources, also the question of skills. We need to partner with respect to skills. I'm happy, Executive Mayor Kaunda, that the city of eThekwini have highly skilled people. I'm sure the other executive mayors are listening. But we do need partnership there as well with the private sector to ensure that we have the right people with the right skills in all our municipalities. The problem, of course, might not be in the metros, but in the smaller municipalities, in rural areas. So we need to do that. But also in the era of digitization or digital economy, it means we need to empower government, particularly at the local level, with all these skills, innovation, and technologies. I like the idea of focusing on local government. I said to Minister Nkadimeng, Deputy Minister Pakstow this morning that local government is at the cold phase of service delivery. And for them choosing to focus on local government at this stage is very important. DG Changani did update us about the state of our municipalities. Some of them is said are classified as dysfunctional. So it means we need to fix them. And partnership between government and the private sector will assist in terms of us achieving that objective. Earlier on, Minister Nkadimeng said local government only receives 9% of the national budget, of the fiscus. There was an assumption in the previous years that municipalities do generate own revenue. So, Minister, this comes from that conclusion. DM Pakstow will know the same thing. In fact, he was doing well when he was executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg. He was generating a lot of revenue. I guess you might say that with eThekwini as well, Cape Town. Some of the big metros are doing well in generating revenue. But I hear that there may be challenges now where we are. MEC for Finance in Joburg was saying that we must relook at this. That assumption may not apply now, that municipalities are fine, they generate their own revenue. So the Minister of Finance, when allocating budget and distributing a national revenue, will only give municipalities just to augment, because it's assumed that they have. So I agree with the colleagues who say that maybe we need to review how we finance local government in the era where we are. And I think COGTA has been engaging with finance or treasury on that matter. I think we should support also the public-private partnerships. There are very good examples of successes that we have seen. One of them, Gautrain, here in the province of Gauteng. Toll roads with Sanral have been one of those successes, partnerships. Recently, the South African Renewable Energy Independent Power Producers, that's one of the successful examples on how the private sector and government can come together to pool resources together to implement successful projects. So I support that we need to strengthen this approach of ensuring that we create this real partnership. Smart cities are one of them. Minister Ramkopa was talking about Lanseria, that maybe the challenges there are because we didn't pull things together, particularly in government. But it's a successful model where the private sector is there, is ready, wants to work with government to build a smart city. And there are a number of these smart cities now that have been identified throughout. The district development model is very key in us achieving this. It is key because I call it the best way of ensuring that government works together. When the President appointed me in March last year as DP, he gave me a number of tasks. I think they probably were more than 10, but the two that I want to mention today is, he said in a letter, I should intervene where there are service delivery hotspots throughout the country, and secondly, roll out the district development model. Now, what is this district development model? I think in the inputs that were made today, a lot was covered as to what that is. My understanding in discussion with the President, firstly, was his concern about fragmentation in government. In a situation where government is planning in silos, implementing in silos, wanted us to move away from that and bring our plans together. Bring our plans together, particularly the three spheres, national, provincial, and local government. So he said to me, you need to roll it out. In other words, make it work throughout the country. And that's what we are doing now. We're bringing the plans together to create one plan in many of the areas. So we have one plan. If you go to KZN, you want to deal with the issue of water. You want to make sure that the Department of Water and Sanitation, together with the province and the municipality of Tegwini, have one plan on how they intervene. And you can make example with a number of other projects we are busy with. So what I did, once the president has asked me to do this, I then invited ministers. My first target was Kokta. So Minister Nkadimen can't run away from me and DM Pakstow. So I called them first to say, we are going to go out into provinces. So I want you to work with me. And then we identify ministries that are relevant to the problem we want to deal with. Our first move was to go to the Free State. There was a problem of water after the disaster in Chakasfontein. We went there and we brought in a Ministry of Water and Sanitation. Deputy Minister Mahlobo was there as well. So that's what we do. Whenever we go to a province, I call Kokta. If the minister is not there, the deputy minister will be there. We recently went to Naisna with Deputy Minister Pakstow and DM Mahlobo because there was water problems there. So that's what we do. We call relevant ministers or deputy ministers. Then we call the premiers and MMCs, then the executive mayors. So we come up with what we refer to as the whole of government approach. And it has been very successful. In all the provinces I've visited, the executive mayors will be there, the MECs will be there, premiers will be there, and also councillors and MMCs. But I often get asked this question in Parliament, is the DDM working, is it necessary? And I always say, yes, it is necessary, yes, it is working. There are those who believe it's not working. It's a waste of time, but it is working. There are a number of projects now that have helped us to move away from fragmentation, to planning together, to implementing together. I said this morning to Minister that I like this dialogue where we're bringing in a business to work with us, but also we need to look at the whole value chain, and that's really the communities, because we want to create an effective society, working society. We need to look at the whole value chain, and there I refer to civil society organizations. One of the things that make our programs not to work or being implemented is conflicts at community level. You can have good plans, but if you go down to communities and you don't have civil society on board, you're going to have problems. And I was making an example with Deputy Minister Julie Shabalala, because she's a treasurer of Sanko. I said, if we don't bring your people in, they are going to protest. And she said, yeah, I think so. Same as the trade unions. If we don't bring them on board, you can expect that they won't be aligned with our program. So, and also traditional leaders. In fact, when I went to the Eastern Cape in Lusikisiki the first time, I found this problem because when I was busy addressing a meeting, there was commotion, and somebody was asking what's happening. They said, no, there are people who want to talk to you. So during break, I went out into a room, and these were traditional leaders. And their gripe was they were not formally invited to that meeting. And they said, why are we not part of the DDM? Why are we not invited? So I had to think on my feet, and I said, no, in fact, you are part. I'm sorry that you were not invited. In fact, come in. Because they are key in those areas. How will you sort a problem of water down in rural Lusikisiki if the traditional leaders are not with you? You're not going to do it. CEO Den Morakan, you will not solve that problem komukhwas if those people are not with you. So we need these traditional leaders. We must bring them on board. But trade unions as well, we need to bring them on board. And of course, Sanko and this other organization. So my suggestion, therefore, Minister and DM, is that in the new administration, the 7th administration, please bring in these other stakeholders. I can't say you must bring them now, because in 29 days it's over. There will be a new administration. She says she's not sure if she's coming back. But we must say, ministers and deputy ministers, let's extend this collaboration to those stakeholders. Let's bring them in so that when we go down to communities to implement, they are part of these plans. I'm not saying that will take away all the challenges that they have. They may still raise other challenges, but they may embrace the bigger plans if they are invited on board much earlier. As I conclude, I want to emphasize this theme again: co-creating a functional and effective society. That's really what we want to achieve: a functional and effective society. And Minister DM, you have my support. You have the support of the presidency. Let's go for it. And if we work together with the private sector and with other stakeholders that I've just mentioned, we will succeed in creating jobs for our people as we implement these projects, support small, medium enterprises in our areas, because when we want communities to thrive, it's not that all of them must go and queue for jobs. Some must start businesses, particularly young people. I found that they are very attracted to that idea. If you say to them, start small businesses, we will support you, and I think we should be able to do that. If we coordinate our work properly, we will minimize conflict in communities, because often conflict stalls the implementation of projects, maybe including problems like amatela ngokubona or business forums, we need to find a way to deal with those challenges, because projects don't get implemented. They are blocked at those levels. But otherwise, I'm very happy with this dialogue, and I'm happy with the partnership. I know, Minister, you are signing today an agreement with NBI again. And what I liked when I read the document, I saw it's not just an agreement, it says a plan. So there is a plan. I'm very happy with that. I will go and be an observer as you sign, but let's implement the plan. Because often we are accused that we have good policies, but we don't implement. So thank you very much. I think we've done well for today. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next dialogue.